What is happening, everyone? Welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to look into one of the most well-established cryptos on the market called Ripple. A lot of you are very familiar with Ripple. I'm going to go over some recent bullish news coming out of Ripple and also take a look at their native blockchain token known as XRP, which currently today is actually at a 90% discount from its all-time highs. So it might be a really great time to look closely at Ripple in terms of a long-term investment. Remember, guys, this is not financial advice, and always do your own due diligence before investing in a project. Don't take my word for it. Don't take any other YouTuber's word for it. Go ahead, do your own research, and make your own decisions. Also, if you've enjoyed this episode, please do give us a good old thumbs up, or do go ahead and subscribe if you're new. If you're a Ripple hodler, give us a thumbs up now. And if you do believe Ripple's a great investment, do stick around. Got some good content today, and let's hope you do enjoy it. Again, I'm Maximilian, your crypto broker, and let's talk Ripple. Okay, guys, so you're either gonna love or hate Ripple. Take me, for example, as a fairly early adopter of crypto back in 2013. I always saw Ripple as a centralized crypto meant for money grabbing banks, the same banks that led to the economic collapse in 2008. So to be fair, from the start I wasn't the most bullish on the project. Since then, however, I've not become necessarily a Ripple fanboy. However, after doing enough research, I believe Ripple is an investment you cannot afford to miss. So what we're going to do today is quickly go through some of the major stories that have come out in the last few days, weeks, and months, just to paint a better picture for you what Ripple's all about, and of course if it's a good and solid long-term investment. I'm also going to speculate on what the price of Ripple may be at the end of 2018. I'll also look into the possibility of Ripple one day replacing the multi-trillion-dollar SWIFT settlement system. So, if that were to even happen, that would be incredible. But if Ripple were just to get a small percentage of that, it would take Ripple to, as they say in cryptocurrency, to the moon. But first things first, let's take a look at Ripple for today, and of course its price metrics. If we look at Ripple's price, 49 cents today, so well below its all-time high. Currently up around 2.6%, so it's above water. Daily volume today at 161 million, fairly high compared to other cryptos, but still quite low from its higher levels of 24-hour volume trading. It's also at a $19 billion market cap, or $19.5 billion, making it the third ranked cryptocurrency on the market. If we scroll down quickly, we're just going to look at Ripple's price action over the last few years. You can see from 2013, massive run-up, big sell-off, sideways movement, massive run-up, big sell-off, sideways movement, massive run-up, big sell-off, not much sideways movement, more downward movement, and then, again, big rise, big sell-off, and we're now again today at around 49 cents. All-time high for Ripple at around, where are we? Around $3.65, so well below its all-time high right now. I think, as I quoted in my opening, at around 90% below its all-time high. So great time to look into Ripple for a long-term investment. You're getting it well cheap. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to quickly move on to the most recent stories coming out of Ripple, and a few stories that have come out in the last few months. That's going to paint a good picture for you about Ripple and its long-term success. First things first, let's jump into today's or yesterday's story that came out. First mobile app using Ripple technology has come to market. Now that sounds cool. It reads, let's go, yeah. Some people may recall how Santander, UK and Ripple are working together. Both firms want to improve international remittance flows through blockchain and digital assets. The first mobile application benefiting from this new technology is now live on the Apple App Store. It's called OnePayFX. It lets users send euro-dollar transactions in mere minutes rather than hours or days. So, that sounds very bullish. Of course, partnering with a big, well-known bank like Santander can only do good for your reputation. It reads here as well, this is the first application from Santander which uses Ripple technology. Although it is unclear if the venture makes use of XRP, the native token of Ripple, it is a positive development regardless. Although the app description doesn't mention Ripple, it seems evident the correlation is certainly there. After all, remittance solutions can benefit from this blockchain technology in the future. And of course it can. I remember stumbling across Bitcoin back in 2013, and all the talk was about remittance and about cross-border transactions. Unfortunately, since then, Bitcoin's been a lot more expensive to do cross-border transactions. A lot cheaper now than it was, though, a few months ago with the Lightning Network and all the development on the core team. But yeah, so remittance is very important and something that will only get more important as we go on, and the blockchain is going to help this. If we quickly take a look at the app, it is available on iOS, as I understand right now. Looks quite sexy, straightforward app to send money across borders. Doesn't mention Ripple anywhere, as mentioned before. But yeah, good start for Ripple to use their technology and for banks to use their technology. If you are a Santander card holder, a check card holder, I believe, you will be able to use this for free. So that's pretty awesome. So check that out if you're a Santander card holder. If you are, give us a good old thumbs up here. Good old like spike, in the words of Superman, another YouTuber. Moving on to the next story, which came out just today, I believe. Yes. SBI Holdings' new crypto exchange will exclusively list XRP during launch. You may ask yourself, who are SBI Holdings? Now, they're enormous. Massive company based out of Japan. Big holding company that has got a few banks. It's got a few institutional investors and a whole lot of other really important and I would say large companies. It reads here, SBI Virtual Currencies, the cryptocurrency exchange of Japanese financial services company SBI Holdings, has announced that it will be exclusively listing Ripple tokens XRP during its launch period, which began in beta in January 30th. Obviously, it's still in beta. We are unable to check that out at the moment, but that is very bullish. Firstly, that SBI are starting their own cryptocurrency exchange. I did believe that they were going to partner with Huobi. I always struggle to mention that exchange, but they were going to partner with Huobi to build it, but they decided not to, and obviously are going with, I believe, XRP's ledger or Ripple's ledger. If we read on here, there's a little quote here from the CEO of SBI Holdings. An interview Ripple conducted with SBI Holdings CEO and Executive Chairman Yoshitaka Kitao in August of 2017 reveals the CEO's bullish attitude towards Ripple. Not only does it have a clear use case, XRP is a faster, cheaper, and more scalable than any other digital asset. Kitao added that he strongly believes it will become the global standard in digital currencies. So, again, I'll use the word bullish. It is bullish news. You've got a big company looking to incorporate XRP and who believe that XRP could be the world's main currency. Just in a quick blog post, it says here, a blog post from Ripple announced that SBI Virtual Currencies is looking to join XRapid ecosystem. XRapid is Ripple's enterprise-grade solution to help institutions source liquidity for cross-border payments between Japan and the rest of the world. If you're unfamiliar with XRapid, don't you worry. Later on in this, I'm going to take you over the 3 offerings from Ripple, and one of those are XRapid. And XRapid, in my eyes, will be the most important because it will be the one that will be integrating the XRP token. And we want to make sure the XRP token isn't just useless. We want to make sure that it's being used. And of course, it will be used and is already being used. So this is good. If you just want to look at, SBI Holdings and how big they are, their stock is up today over 2%, similar to Ripple for the day. But if you look at their market cap, it's at 587 billion. So, really big market cap, and of course, big company. So bullish that they are involved with Ripple. Moving on, Ripple claims 3 big money transfer firms will use XRP in 2018. This article isn't new. It's actually from January. But I do like it, though, because they've actually come good on their word. So just to read what it says here, 3 of the top 5 money transfer companies worldwide will be implementing Ripple's XRP token in their payment flow systems this year, the company said in a tweet. The tweet, which did not identify the partners, comes as XRP has rallied to take over Ethereum as the number 2 cryptocurrency. Now, again, I said that this is not necessarily the newest article. It's from January, but I just want to show you it because Ripple did come good on this news, and I'll show you just shortly which payment partners they have partnered with. First of all, Ripple and MoneyGram test XRP currency transfers. So that's the first. MoneyGram, a huge money transfer company, and of course are well known by most people in the Western world. It reads here, Ripple, a blockchain company and rival to Bitcoin, on Thursday announced a tie-up with Dallas-based money transfer giant MoneyGram. The move is significant because the arrangement involves the use of XRP, Ripple's digital currency, which has recently soared in value but also faced questions about its practical uses. So this is really good. They will be using XRapid. It's not necessarily been implemented yet, but it's in the pipeline and ready to go. Just a quick quote from here. It says, XRP remains the most efficient digital asset for payments, with transaction fees at just a fraction of a penny, compared to Bitcoin's fees at about $30 per transaction. This, of course, is from January as well, so this is not necessarily spot on in terms of Bitcoin's transfer price. It's a lot less than that now because of the Lightning Network, but still just shows you people's opinion that Ripple is the best and easiest and fastest way for these money transfer companies to send money abroad. So that's their first partnership, so they came good on that. Second one, rumors are true. Western Union experiments with Ripple's XRapid. Again, they'll be using XRapid, meaning they'll be using the XRP token. A quick extract from this article. Western Union CEO Hikmet Ersek, sorry mate if I've mispronounced that, told Bloomberg that Ripple experiments are part of a larger exploration of blockchain technologies. We are looking especially in the processing settlement and working capital optimization, also in the regulation part, on the compliance part, on the blockchain capabilities. And we do test. We do some tests with Ripple. There we go. So Ripple, working closely with Western Union. Western Union, probably one of the biggest and most well-known money transfer agents in the world. I really dislike them, to be quite honest with you. They make you fill out so many papers and so many crazy things to send cash abroad. As you can hear, not necessarily from the UK, was born here but grew up in Africa. And a lot of my, people that I were friendly with in South Africa had to send money back home, and we're using Western Union, getting charged a huge amount of money, and of course having to wait days, if not weeks. A quick statement released by Ripple on this. We've been testing different products with Western Union for a while. We're excited about our work towards a pilot implementation of XRapid, which uses XRP in the payment flows. Again, another use of XRapid, which a lot of people are worried about, that XRP won't be used. This is now the third different company that will potentially be using XRapid. Then lastly, Walmart and MoneyGram partnership could pump Ripple. So this is just a little bit on Walmart's partnership with Ripple. It's not quite as solidified as the others, but it does say here, on Tuesday, 3rd of April, Walmart and MoneyGram partnered to launch a new global money remitting service known as Walmart to World. This is good news for Ripple and the XRP community. For MoneyGram had already partnered with Ripple in early January. MoneyGram is testing our Ripple's XRapid payment solution that comes with the good properties of Ripple. So there we go. It says secure on the blockchain, fast, 3.3 seconds per transaction, and cheap, fraction of a cent. Well, it's what, 0.004 per transaction. So it's tiny amount. So that's obviously very good news. If we continue here, it says MoneyGram is testing XRapid. What is it and when it will be integrated? XRapid uniquely uses digital asset XRP to offer on-demand liquidity, which dramatically lowers costs while enabling real-time payments in emerging markets. Built for enterprise, XRP offers banks and payment providers a highly efficient, scalable, reliable liquidity option to serve cross-border payments. Again, XRapid is going to be implemented, and the use of the XRP token is only going to continue to go upward. Moving on. Cool. So here we've got an article that came out yesterday. Thank you to Yusuf for this. A good article. Good news as well. Another article. ALLVOR, the first cryptocurrency to be hosted on Ripple. So we got other cryptos now building on Ripple's ledger protocol. It says ALLVOR is another feather to the cap of Ripple. It is branding itself as the first cryptocurrency powered by XRP Ledger with a distinct functionality and focus on e-commerce. ALLVOR proposed integration using XRP Ledger superior technology. If widely accepted, it will go a long way in boosting the cryptocurrency use on a global scale. So that's really good. Just a quick quote from this is, in the next years, the best and most consistent blockchain technologies will transparently integrate and operate with various layers and protocols required to conduct financial and business transactions. If we just quickly look at their website, I'm not going to go too in depth with ALLVOR. Cryptocurrency for e-commerce powered by the XRP Ledger. So this is the first of its kind. It's another cryptocurrency that's going to use the ledger of Ripple, and can only be good news as more and more cryptos potentially use Ripple's ledger protocol. Cool. So moving on to another article here in terms of banking. Sorry, if I just pop back here, down here it did mention a few of these banks that are now partnering with Ripple. First of all, some of you are going to be more familiar with this when it comes to the Japan partnerships and their banks. When the news of the Japan Bank Consortium having a link with Ripple surfaced, the world saw it as a big move for Ripple. The consortium, which is a coalition of 61 banks, that is now more than 100, under my understanding, in Japan, is organized by SBI Ripple Asia. Remember, we've already mentioned SBI and SBI Holdings. SBI have also got SBI Ripple Asia. In an announcement, the consortium revealed the launch of a new Ripple pilot with Woori Bank and Shihan Bank, who are seen as the two largest South Korean banks due to their market cap amounting to $30 billion. Do also keep in mind that they probably won't be using XRapid, as I've been speaking about. The idea was touted as the first time money moves from Japan to Korea over RippleNet using Ripple's settlement technology Xcurrent for cross-border transactions. We'll move on to Xcurrent soon as we get onto Ripple in a nutshell, but yeah, they won't be using XRapid. And then another partnership, more recent one, Ripple Saudi Arabia partnership. The Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority's SAMA is going to save the oil-rich country over $200 to $400 million annually. That's the partnership with Ripple, that is. The partnership gives banks in the kingdom an opportunity to use Ripple's tools for cross-border payments. SAMA, by indications, is going to be the second central bank in the world to introduce blockchain-based cross-border payment platform after the 2017 Bank of England's pilot project. Now guys, just think of that quickly. Central banks are potentially going to implement Ripple's technology. As much as you may not like centralized services, and I don't myself, I'm a decentralized man. I got into crypto because of decentralization and giving the power back to the people. But the thing is that the majority of people out in the world do prefer centralized services because they feel more safe and it's easier to obviously insure. So the fact that Ripple are right at the forefront of this, have got over 100 different banks, partnered with them, partnered with all these huge payment processors like, MoneyGram and Western Union, and now are working with central banks. Now, the central bank of Saudi Arabia is only going to get bigger, and of course the central bank of the United Kingdom, one of the biggest in the world. I know it's just a pilot project, but you have to start somewhere, don't you? Cool. Well, that's that then. What's next are we looking at here? Oh yes, some good news, some good philanthropy. Always struggle to say that word coming from Ripple. So Ripple gives away 29 million of its cryptocurrency to public schools. So that's really, really good. I always like to see philanthropy coming from these big companies. The owner of Ripple and Ripple in general are a multi-billion-dollar company. They hold around 60% of the tokens in circulation, Ripple. So they've got a lot of money floating about, and it's good to see them donating it to a good cause. It says the donation, which Ripple said is the largest ever cryptocurrency gift to a single charity, fulfilled thousands of requests from public school teachers on the crowdfunding site donorschoose.org. The money will be used to buy classroom materials for more than 28,000 public school teachers across all 50 states. That's huge. That's really, really good. Kudos to Ripple for doing that, and let's hope other big cryptos follow them to do that. Obviously, a lot of people might see it as a big publicity stunt. It is, of course, good for publicity. It's good for your reputation, but you're still giving away $29 million. Okay, and then moving on to something that I think a lot of people will need to take a closer look at in 2018 is that potentially we might see a Ripple futures market. I think probably before Ripple we may see an Ethereum futures market. Even before that, I think we might even see a Bitcoin ETF. We do know that two are actually under consideration at the moment with the SEC. But in terms of Ripple, Ripple's XRP might be the next big crypto futures market. Now that would be good for you Ripple hodlers. It goes on to say Bitcoin futures may have been launched with tremendous fanfare, but XRP futures on the other hand, not so much. In fact, the UK-based startup Crypto Facilities has been operating a futures market for the world's third largest cryptocurrency, developed by blockchain startup Ripple Inc. for almost 18 months now. And while the company's CEO Timo Schleifer has been tight-lipped about the product so far, he sees trends in recent data that indicate broader XRP futures adoption may be on the horizon. We have pretty good order books. Pretty good is never a great way of saying good. And we're in the process of working with some of the large market makers to draw that further. Cool. So, that could be very bullish for Ripple if big companies or big countries are happy to do Ripple futures. So that's cool. And then just lastly, before we move into Ripple in a nutshell, is the question of, could Ripple potentially replace Swift, or could it take some market share from Swift? Swift, what I found here, this is the most up-to-date numbers I could find. According to this document from the US Treasury, Swift handles about $5 trillion per day, or given about 250 businesses per year, about $1.25 quadrillion a year. 1.25 quadrillion. I honestly don't know what that looks like in numbers, but it's a lot. It's a huge amount. Okay, but what it says here in this article, which is not new, but just gives you a good representation of some people's thoughts on how Ripple could take market share from Swift. It says cross-border payments are currently slow, expensive, and opaque. Ripple offers sub-second efficiently priced payments using a variant of blockchain technology. In response, Swift has launched GP2, same-day credit of funds, upfront pricing, and payment tracking. This article explores the two solutions and what they mean for treasurers. Currently, cross-border payments go through the 600-year-old correspondent banking system, much constrained by regulators clamping down on KYC and AML, facilitated by Swift messages like MT101 and ISO 2022. It moves on here to speak about Ripple. Ripple is disrupting this model with sub-second cross-border payments with automated best pricing from its network. Since Ripple payments are nearly instant, their model removes credit and liquidity risk from the process, thus lowering bank costs considerably. Since the network finds the best price for the exchange and liquidity, pricing is optimized and customers are no longer locked into the wide spreads currently reflected in bank board rates. So yeah, that's something to consider, is that maybe not in 2018, potentially going into 2019, 2020, as Ripple and cryptocurrency is more widely adopted by institutions and by different countries. I think Ripple could seriously tap into this market and could take market share from Swift. You know, why not? Swift has been around a long time already. It's pretty much totally got no competition. It's about time it has some competition, and Ripple has done a lot of work over the last few years to build up banking relations and, of course, build credibility. And what's to say that Ripple can't replace Swift or potentially take market share from it? Remember, Swift, with the last numbers I could find, do roughly around $1.25 quadrillion a year. So even if a small amount of that goes through Ripple, it could take Ripple, you know, to the stratosphere. Cool, so that is pretty much the news over the last few months and last few weeks and last few days. Those are a few headlines I think a lot of the people that don't know a huge amount about Ripple might want to hear. If we just quickly look at Ripple in a nutshell, I'm just going to also explain their three offerings, but just in layman's terms, what does Ripple do? In a world where 3 billion people are connected online, cars drive themselves, and appliances can communicate, global payments are still stuck in the disco era. Why? The payment infrastructure was built before the internet. This is true. So like it says there, you know, we've got self-driving cars now, we've got, you know, smart homes, smart devices, but we're still sending money in really old school ways. So what's to say that, you know, we need to upgrade this? So it says meet RippleNet. Ripple connects banks, payment providers, digital asset exchanges, corporates via RippleNet to provide one frictionless experience to send money globally. It says access, connectivity across payment networks, instant on-demand settlement, real-time traceability of funds, and low operational and liquidity costs. So these are all things that maybe not the average man or woman care about today. It is mainly focused at enterprise and businesses, but we could potentially be using this, and what I want to speak about mostly is potentially be using XRP as a utility or payment service. So let's quickly look at that. If we scroll down here to the three offerings for Ripple, there's xCurrent. Banks use xCurrent to process global payments for their customers. xRapid, a payment provider, uses xRapid to source on-demand liquidity. And then xVia, businesses use xVia to plug into RippleNet to send payments. Now this one is the one that I really want to look into, which is xRapid. Now xRapid is going to be the one that's going to be using the XRP token. And for investors like me and you, we want to make sure that the underlying token is worth a huge amount of money. So the more it's used, the more it should be worth because of network effects. Okay, so let's quickly read what they say about xRapid. xRapid is for payment providers and other financial institutions who want to minimize liquidity costs while improving their customer experience. Because payments into emerging markets often require pre-funded local currency accounts around the world, liquidity costs are high. xRapid dramatically lowers the capital requirements for liquidity. Cool, yeah, so it just shows you an explanation of how this would work. Not going to go into it too in depth. I do suggest you guys come do some good research on Ripple in general and maybe xRapid to understand how the XRP token will be used. Lastly, before we move on to a quick speculative price prediction for Ripple, it says xRapid uniquely uses a digital asset XRP to offer on-demand liquidity which dramatically lowers costs while enabling real-time payments in emerging markets. Built for enterprise use, XRP offers banks and payment providers a highly efficient, scalable, reliable liquidity option to service cross-border payments. So yeah, that's pretty much Ripple and xRapid in a nutshell. I do suggest if you want some more information to go and troll through the Ripple website. But that's it for today when it comes to Ripple and its news. Let's quickly jump into a good old price speculation. Let's just refresh that. We're a little bit up since earlier when we spoke about the price. Okay, so all-time high, let's say around $3.70. I myself am very bullish on Ripple as an investment, a long-term investment. I do tend to HODL between 1 to 2 years or have the strategy to do so. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ripple at you know, a minimum of 10 to 15 US dollars sometime this year. Of course, that's about 3 times higher than its all-time high at the moment. We could see it surpass that. Why not? No one believed that Ripple would get to $1. I remember seeing Ripple at 1 cent. I remember seeing Ripple floating at 26 cents for months on end. It literally did look like it was asleep. And then, of course, we saw this massive bull run. Keep in mind as well, guys, that the circulating supply for Ripple is around 39, is that billion? Yeah. And the total supply is around 100 billion. Keep in mind the Ripple team, or the Ripple business, owns about 60% of the tokens. So they could manipulate the market. It is held in escrow, I believe, but which can be released at certain times each year. But keep that in mind before making the investment, that this could potentially be manipulated by the people at the top. But also do keep in mind the fact that Ripple owns so much of this token, they're only going to want it to be worth more. So they might pump the market, actually. As you can see here, this looks like a good old pump. This looks like a good old pump and dump. This looks like a good old pump and dump. This looks like even a bigger pump and dump. Who's pump and dumping Ripple? Who has all this Ripple? Ripple do. So, and they want it to be worth more. So look at it as a 1-year investment. You could be buying Ripple today at 50 cents, and it could potentially go to $10, if not $15, and maybe higher. I don't want to say much higher than that because I sound ridiculous even saying $10. But I'm going to stick with, let's say, a 2018 value at some time this year, not necessarily at the end of the year, but at a safe value of $10 US. Again, not financial advice, guys, and please do your own research before investing. Never use my word for it. And if you've enjoyed this, please do give us a thumbs up now. Really could do that to get some more broad access and, you know, a broader audience on YouTube. Also, if you're new, please do subscribe. And what we're going to do every day, is coin reviews and market reports, coming from a cryptocurrency broker and from a long-time Bitcoin hodler since 2013, since November. Actually bought Bitcoin at around just under $1,000 for the first time. So I bought it quite expensive, to be fair, and then about a month later it went down to $100 odd after MT Gox had a good old hack. And I hodled through all of that. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching, whoever has. I appreciate you guys watching our videos. Have a great day. I'm Maximilian, your crypto broker, and I'll see you again tomorrow.